with all that? I heard they blocked the semiconductors or something.
Well, you got to remember something. Going into Taiwan is all about the semiconductors. China makes about 10% of the semiconductors in the United States. Okay? Now, let's say a semiconductor is a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch, okay? Hypothetically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
They do it in centimeters or whatnot, but I'm not going to get into the technical terms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a semiconductor is a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch, okay?
Right.
Whatever size semiconductor China makes, Taiwan's semiconductor is half the size of China's. So let's say on a 1-inch board, you can get hypothetically, let's say, I'm not going to be exact with it because I'm not trying to be exact here. I'm just trying to paint the picture. Let's say you can get 10 Chinese semiconductors on a 1-inch board, okay?
Right.
A relay switch or whatever. Taiwan can get 20. So that means with Taiwan, that semiconductor that processes the information, Taiwan semiconductor can do 100% more capabilities. Like say, you follow me on that, right?
Right.
All right. Taiwan makes the best semiconductor on the planet. And the smallest. And if you want to be precise, I think China's semiconductor is like 8 centimeters, and I think Taiwan's is like 4. But that breaks it down to exactly what I just said in layman's terms.
Right.
Now, that's why China wants Taiwan. Because Taiwan is 70 or 80% of the semiconductors in the United States. But we have free trade with Taiwan. Okay? So that means we get all the semiconductors we want out of Taiwan. So we ain't building those semiconductors. Now we are. All right? As a matter of fact, I sent you a text. New York State, there's a guy that opened up a semiconductor up there with silicon carbon or something. Silicon carbon. It's a synthetic silicon. And his stock is going through the roof. He just built it, took billions and billions and billions of dollars. He got a tax break from New York. And this is a company you want to invest in for about 5 years, Vinny. Because they're going to be taken, if Taiwan gets taken over by China, just like China now is slowing down the semiconductors coming out of China, which is like 10%. If they take over Taiwan, you could say, because your refrigerator goodbye, your television goodbye, your toaster goodbye, your cars goodbye, and everything else. That's why there's a race here. Supposedly, that $350 billion that went into the tech companies, that was supposed to be to build semiconductors here. But at the last minute, they put a 2-year moratorium on the law. So they could still farm it out to China for 2 years. The dumbest thing I've ever seen. In the middle of the night, 10 minutes before they voted on it, they took and added 2 years before it became a solvent law where you couldn't put any foreign parts into the semiconductors in the United States. It's a mess.
So did you hear about them cutting off China on our semiconductor companies? We're not selling it to them anymore.
Say that again.
Apparently, we're not selling China our semiconductors anymore. You haven't heard about that?
We're not selling them semiconductors. We were importing semiconductors.
Okay. It has something to do with this company, NVIDIA and AMD.
No, I think they were farming out the labor to China for the work, even though they were an American-based company. You follow what I'm saying?
They restrict chip sales to China. NVIDIA stock falls after United States government restricts chip sales. AMD, things aren't looking good for semiconductors. They're not selling. How are we selling anything to China? We don't make anything, do we? Shit.
No, there's been a few companies popping up here and there. Trump brought a few of them companies back. But it's only like 10%, Vinny.
Okay. Well, do you think...
But China's only 10%. Now, if China takes over Taiwan, Taiwan becomes China.
Right.
Think about it.
So would you invest in an American semiconductor company right now or not?
I just told you to win in New York State.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. No, I apologize. Silicon goes into the battery. All right? It's an electric battery manufacturing plant. I already told you about this, and this was about 2 months ago. It's not a semiconductor. But if I had long-term money like you at your age, I think 5 years down the road. It ain't something you would invest in and wait for it to go up 10 and 15% and pull it out. I'd leave it there. I think it's going to be a good semiconductor company in the United States. Is going to be the next Tesla or Apple. It's going to take 3, 4, 5 years before it really swings up. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
If I was you, I'd take I don't know your finances, but I mean, I know how to add 2 plus 2. I would take about $1,500 to $2,000 of that money and forget where you can put it.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Just put it in your portfolio. And I'll tell you what. Did you find a company you like?
Oh, I mean, I would probably just go with an index.
Okay.
Probably like the top 20 or top 30 companies. They have indexes.
Well, if what you're saying is correct. Now, I knew nothing about what you just said, okay? Didn't hear nothing about it, and I've been home quite a bit. I haven't, I knew semiconductors 3 months ago. What was the problem? But if what you are saying, I don't quite understand exactly what that means. I mean, I know what you said, but I haven't really integrated in my head.
Yeah, you can
There's
just...
going to be a lot of talk coming about it. And I would wait for this next rate hike, Vinny.
Right. Okay.
I'd sit it out for another 3 or 4 weeks and see which direction you think Powell's going to go. Because he's going to set the tone in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
All right? And I seriously still think that he's going to do 0.75. The market is hoping he does 0.50. He's hoping because something to do with trade today. We brought our trade deficit down today by quite a bit. And that's almost like a sign that the economy's slowing down. And the economy's slowing down, which normally means inflation's going to go down. Mm-hmm. But inflation's not going down. And Powell swore he's taking no prisoners. His main focus is on inflation only.
Right.
And inflation doesn't go down. Powell's going to steamroll, go ahead. It doesn't matter about the economy. I think unemployment's going to go up to 6% very quick. And everybody's going to say, oh, okay, we finally arrived. But if inflation don't go down, he don't give a shit about unemployment. But common sense tells you, if unemployment goes up, inflation goes down. Common sense also told me when the market tanked, gold went up. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Right.
So you can't go on common sense anymore. You just can't.